Based on what you saw tonight on Monday Night Raw, do you think that Tony Khan dropped the ball on Pentagon Jr.? Smash the like button if you agree that he did.
All right, so let's chat about the debut of Pentagon Jr. in the World Wrestling Federation on Monday Night Raw on Netflix. This was a great debut. This was the perfect debut, and the perfect opponent was Chad Gable. I knew Penta and Chad Gable was going to have a great match. Chad Gable is a great in-ring performer. This was a great match, and this match, it trumps everything he did in All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. Every move, every maneuver looked great. It was not over the top. Every move looked great in this match. Oh yeah, also, by the way, this is my channel. It's not your channel, which means I can say anything I want to say on this page. If I want to say the World Wrestling Federation, yes, bitch, I can say it. And guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. At the end of the day, I'm from the World Wrestling Federation era, not you. You are from the John Cena era. You are from the PG era. I'm not from that era. I'm from the Attitude era. I'm from the real era of fake pro wrestling. You don't know shit about the World Wrestling Federation, hence why you love to correct me on what this company is called. Nigga, we all know it's called the World Wrestling Entertainment, but that don't mean I have to call it that. So there's a photo going around of Penta and Triple H. It is Penta carrying the Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship, but obviously it is a Photoshop picture. I'm like, dog, it was a fan of All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling who made that picture. I don't get it, right? Every time Tony Khan treats his talent like shit, and then they move on to the World Wrestling Federation, it's always their fan base who turns their backs on the performers. I'm like, no, you gotta hold Tony Khan's feet to the fire. It's his fault. It's his fault why Penta is gone. It's his fault why Cody Rhodes is gone. It's his fault why Brian Pillman Jr. is gone. First off, why are you blaming the talent? Why are you taking your frustrations out on Penta, Brian Pillman Jr., Shawn Spears, etc., Dragon Lee, Jay Cargill? I'm like, it's not their fault why Tony Khan booked them like shit. You should be their number one fan. You should be supporting them. It's not their fault that they were not on Dynamite. It's not Pentagon Jr.'s fault why he was a job guy on Dynamite. Whose fault is that? So why would you say, oh, he's going to be a speed champion? How? What evidence do you have? Dude, Triple H and Khan, they don't book alike. So if Triple H is trying to sign more guys and girls from All Elite Wrestling, why the fuck would he treat Penta like garbage? That makes no fucking sense. Are you stupid? Yes, you are stupid. You are sicko. That makes no fucking sense. So I'm going to bury Cody Rhodes. I'm going to bury Dragon Lee. I'm going to bury Shawn Spears, Brian Pillman Jr., Penta. Okay, if I bury them, then most likely Wardlow is not going to want to come here. Hobbs is not going to want to come here. Guys like that. Kyle motherfucking Fletcher is not going to want to come here if he thinks Triple H buries All Elite Wrestling talent. So, listen, it's all cope. That's all. It's all cope. How dare you Photoshop Penta carrying the Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship? Now, I ain't saying that that's a bad title. It's not. Not one time have I said that the Need for Speed Championship is bad. No, to me, it's similar to Zack Ryder's Internet Championship. But this title is real. The Need for Speed Championship is real. It's defended on Twitter, which means it is an Internet Championship. Now, I've never said not one bad word about that belt. That belt don't bother anybody. It is not a jobber title. Hell, it's not a main roster title. It is a Twitter title. So who cares? Who cares who wins it? Right? Why does that bother you? It is not a jobber title. It is not the 24/7 championship. That's a real championship that's on Twitter. It is only on Twitter. So that's a special title. Hell, they don't show it on Raw or SmackDown. But no, Penta will not go for that championship. I'm like, why are you confusing Triple H with Tony Khan. I don't get it. So by your logic, right? Oh, Khan man, he booked Pentagon Jr. like shit. So you think Triple H is going to follow suit? Are you that fucking retarded? Yes, you are retarded. Big time. That makes no fucking sense. Why would Pentagon Jr. come here if he thinks that Triple H is going to book him the same way just like Khan man did? Then why leave? That makes no fucking sense. Like, man, so many fans of All Elite fake pro wrestling, they expose themselves as racist as well. Here's why. People assume that Pentagon Jr. is going to join the LWO. Okay, what proof do you have, right? Where's your evidence? Last time I checked, Angel Garza has never stepped foot in that group. Humberto Carrillo has never stepped foot in that group. Do they have Dominic? Nope. Let's talk about Andrade. Is Andrade a member of the LWO? So if he is not a member of that group, what makes you think a high prize free agent like Penta is going to join the LWO just to carry the bags of Rey Mysterio? That's not going to happen. In fact, I think Rey might be his opponent at WrestleMania. I'm like, bro, that's a dream match. Yes, Penta is a Latino wrestler who wears a mask. So obviously, he will meet Rey Mysterio. That's going to happen. They are both on Raw. Now, I believe that Penta might be a friend of the LWO, but he will not be in the group. Maybe a one-off. Maybe a one-off. He might be a friend of that group, just like Andrade was. And then he will move on to bigger and better things. Penta is bigger than that group. He don't need that group. A guy like a Dragon Lee, yes, he needs Rey. He needs that rub, but not Penta. Penta has been there, done that. He don't need Rey to get a rub. But I'm sorry, that is very, very racist to think that just because Penta is a goddamn Latino, you think he's going to be in the LWO and you think he's going to be a jobber? That makes no fucking sense. Penta is a goddamn star. Hell, his merch was on the WWE shop before his debut. That's the first time ever that has ever happened in this company. For the past 8 years, Triple H has been trying to sign Penta. So why would Penta be a job guy or a mid-card guy? Why? Now, I do think that makes sense for Rey to be Penta's first WrestleMania opponent. That's a dream match. That might be the match of the year if they wrestle. Now, they cannot wrestle on Raw. Man, that's called burning away money. Those two men should not fight on Netflix. They gotta fight on pay-per-view. It needs to be WrestleMania. But I am going to say it one more time. The Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship, that's a relevant title in terms of, hell, it's more relevant than every championship currently in All Elite Wrestling. How about that, bitch? How about that? Right? The Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship, it is more prestigious than the TNT Championship. And I dare you to tell me that I'm lying. I'm not. It's more relevant. And fun fact, by the way, the Need for Speed show, it has the same viewership as Dynamite and Collision. So yes, that's proof that that title is more relevant than every championship in All Elite Wrestling. And that hurts you inside, right? As a fan of All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. You see, I am speaking facts on facts. That is what the numbers say. The numbers say that the Need for Speed show on Twitter, man, it has just as much viewership numbers as Dynamite and Collision. Like I said, the Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship, it is very similar to the Zack Ryder Internet Championship. It's very similar. But the Need for Speed World Heavyweight Championship, that belt is real. And the Internet Championship, that was a fake belt. So to me, the Need for Speed belt is better on paper because it's real and it's defended. Also, you can make the argument that Penta is the the second greatest Latino masked wrestler since Rey Mysterio to ever sign to the World Wrestling Federation. That's facts. He's the best since Rey Mysterio. So this was a huge signing. Yes, he's the most successful Latino masked wrestler since Rey Mysterio. I'm not lying, I'm not wrong. That's facts on facts. But we all know that Penta, as a singles guy, this is temporary until Rey Fenix shows up. So this is going to be a short-lived singles run for Penta in this company. So we gotta enjoy it for the time being until Rey Fenix shows up. So who does Penta remind me of? Penta reminds me of a young La Parka from WCW because he's very, very charismatic and the audience loves him. You see, La Parka never spoke on Nitro, but La Parka was still over with the audience because La Parka had charisma. He had great mannerisms. First off, I don't know why people think that Pentagon Jr. needs a manager or a mouthpiece. Pentagon Jr. is fine. He don't need a manager. Listen, it's quite simple. Based on his character, he don't need a manager. Because if you are trying to book him as a good guy, that means he don't need a manager. It's hard to book a babyface manager. Fun fact, that is hard. Hell, that might be the hardest thing in the business, to book a babyface manager. They don't work. It's very, very rare when a babyface manager works. It's rare. Last time I checked, Shinsuke Nakamura does not have a manager. And yes, he is the current US champion. So yes, you can get away with not having a manager for a guy who can't speak English. Just give him closed captions. Just give him subtitles. That's all you need. For example, let's go back to Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Remember, Shinsuke was talking via closed captions. He was talking via subtitles. So every promo Shinsuke was cutting on Cody Rhodes, it had subtitles in the video. So I do believe that Penta will have subtitles in his promos. You can't give Penta a manager because he's going to take away the spotlight away from Penta. We need to focus on Penta and not his fucking manager. You cannot book a good guy manager for Penta. It's not going to work in this company. Listen, if Shinsuke Nakamura don't need a manager, then that means that Penta don't need a manager. Now, do I think that Penta has upside in the World Wrestling Federation? Yes, but not as a singles guy. Why? Because Rey Fenix is going to join him soon, eventually this year. So that means his singles run is going to be short-lived until Rey Fenix gets here. But I believe as a singles guy, man, this guy has tons of opponents lined up. He has Gunther, he has Jay, Braun Breaker, Sheamus. Man, I want to see Sheamus versus Penta. I want to see Gunther versus Penta. I want to see Ludwig Kaiser, fucking Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. How about Drew Mac, the Mac Daddy versus Penta? Man, this guy has dream matchups lined up until Rey Fenix gets here. Just imagine Finn Balor versus Penta. Penta versus Dirty Ass Dominic. Man, this guy is going to be busy for a very, very long time. You can also book Karrion Kross versus Penta. You can also book Dane Priest versus Penta. Man, this was the perfect show to be on for Penta. Also, I forgot Seth Freaky Rollins versus Penta. Now that's a dream match. Hell, that might be a WrestleMania light match. How about CM Punk versus Penta? You see, Penta is so great, this guy can have a great match with anybody on the roster. Also, why not Penta versus Logan Paul? Man, that's going to be a very athletic matchup.